recording?
We are.
Okay. Welcome all to the first episode of the Black Column Podcast. I'm your host, the crew philosopher. My government name is Jabia. I'm here with an old high school friend of mine. I'm going to let her introduce herself because I don't know how she wants to introduce herself to the people here.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shannon. I don't really know what else to say about myself. Yeah. It's always weird.
These are our Instagram names, though this is also my Twitter name, so you can follow me on Twitter at Crew
I don't have Twitter, so this is just my Instagram name.
Which is insane, because you seem like the type that would love Twitter since you love to talk.
I wouldn't say that I love to talk, per se. I love to talk about certain things. But yeah, I tried the Twitter wave, but I couldn't get into it. I don't know.
I love Twitter way more than Instagram. That's the conversation for another day.
But you can find me arguing with your local Karens in your Facebook comments of various articles. That's where you can find me.
Okay. So for today's episode, me and Shannon wanted to talk about a topic that's been on my mind for a while, and it's was if voting for Donald Trump make you a bad person, right?
Yes.
Now, just to give some background context, this topic has been on my mind due to the fact that as we move closer and closer to the presidential election on November 3rd, the partisanship is reaching a fever pitch. I think you would agree with me on that one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you have people on the left side, the Democratic side, who are saying that if you vote for Trump, you are a racist. Like, it doesn't even matter. Full stop. You're a racist. There is no other side to this. There's only one side. You're either pro-America or you're pro-Trump. Like, I find all of these conversations to be unproductive, number one. Number two, wrong, flat out wrong. And I wanted to have a conversation with somebody that I knew felt differently than I did. And so, Shannon was the perfect person. And we're going to have this discussion. I think some really interesting things will come out. She's very animated when it comes to the Don, aka the Great White Hope. But go ahead.
Well, no, I agree with you there. I don't think if you support Trump, you're a borderline racist. There's a difference between being a racist and being, quote unquote, a good person. But also, if you look at it, like, people say this all the time, not all Trump supporters
are racist, but all racists vote for Trump.
Yes, exactly. There you go.
That is true.
And that is very true. I agree with that.
Okay, so I don't disagree with that statement, but here's my pushback. Both the Democrats and the Republicans are jockeying for power, political power,
yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So they each flirt with fringe elements of their side that they aren't supposed to flirt with. For example, Republicans historically flirt with racists. If you're a Republican watching this, I'm sorry. I'm a straight shooter. I'm calling like I see it. Y'all flirt with a racist. Democrats, though, they flirt with, anarchists / Antifa, those people. They flirt with them. They don't take them home to their mom, but they take them out, show them off to their friends. So both sides play that game. I think it's unhelpful that either one plays that game because you open yourself up to being criticized for something else other than policy.
Yes. Well, like we were discussing previously before, neither party is a saint and both parties have massive issues, which is, again, why I personally don't identify with either Democrat or Republican. I am an independent, so I kind of remove myself from that situation. But in terms of this election, you kind of got to throw yourself back in for the greater good of humanity. But yeah, both parties are guilty and both parties have done really shady things. When you look back on the history of the Democrats, they've done a lot of things that are not amazing, but yet they're able to kind of brush that under the rug due to everything that the Republicans are doing now in this Trump era. But we can't forget that really neither side is innocent. So
okay, so then tell me why you believe that if you vote for Trump, you're a bad person.
Well, you have to look back on this is a very easy question to answer. You just have to look back on everything he's done in these 4 years, and also you have to look back on his history as a person. Trump is not a great person. He has a very prominent history, I want to say, with surrounding racism, surrounding immoral practices in his businesses, and all of this. Yeah, if you look back at that and combine it with everything that he does now or has done in the last 4 years, it kind of makes it like a no-brainer choice, especially if you are a person of color. I don't understand for the life of me, if you're Black, why you have any reason to support Donald Trump in office.
So that was a great opening statement. Here's my rebuttal. Trump was involved in real estate a lot in New York City, and various places. And so it's just some background history. What Shannon's talking about is that Trump, I think he was sued like what, 4 times?
Like he was sued a lot of times. And if you look at his behavior, sorry, I don't want to take away from your point.
No, go ahead.
If you look at his behavioral pattern from back when he was sued, when him and his father was sued back in like what, the 70s or whatever year it was, for violating the Fair Housing Act. So to provide some context, at the time, he and his father were getting sued, and another big real estate agency or real estate company had gotten sued previously as well for violating the Fair Housing Act. The other real estate company, what they did was they basically settled, and they said that they would not, they would basically allow Black people to rent their apartments, no problem going forward. But when the Trumps got sued, instead of agreeing to let Black people rent their apartments with no issues, what they did was that they threw a tantrum. They threw a huge countersuit back and basically accused them of character defamation and all these things, instead of just agreeing to let Black people be able to rent their apartments. So when you look at that behavioral pattern from back then, compared to everything that he does now, just like never admitting to any guilt or wrongdoing, just always flipping the argument back on the other side and doing all these things, it's a continuous pattern that Trump has displayed throughout the years, and I don't really think it's going anywhere.
Yeah, so that's the background that Shannon's talking about. Also, I'm assuming she's also talking about, his comments about the Central Park teenagers.
The Central Park 5, saying that the death penalty should be brought back. And although I don't think he specifically said it to them, about them, I think he said it.
Yes, and like the paper, he said it on like
news. He took out a whole article, and I think like more than one newspaper, I think, if I'm remembering. He took out an article in an ad in more than one newspaper saying that the death penalty should be brought back, like right around the time that it was happening. So again, his history isn't rosy.
No, I'm with you. And full disclosure, those comments that Trump made about the Central Park 5, that was after it was proven that these gentlemen were innocent. So this was after there was evidence that came out that suggested that maybe something is suspicious here. Trump was still pushing for them to remain in jail. His comments about Obama, the birther issues as well. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, no, I'm not. And I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying you are, but I'm just saying, and when you look at that, and this is a person also that doesn't want to grow, or he doesn't want to acknowledge any wrongdoing that he's done. Like, even now in present day, he refuses to say that he was wrong for saying that he wants a death penalty for Central Park 5. He still will not say that he was wrong for saying those statements, and anything wrong that he's done, he still won't take credit for 100%. So why do you want somebody who is not willing to grow or really even acknowledge any wrongdoing or mistakes that they've made?
So here's what I would say to you, Shannon. I would tell you that as part of my rebuttal, true, everything you said about Trump is true. But here's the thing. There are 2 options on November 3rd.
Yes.
Right? There is old ass Joe Biden, and there is old and sick ass Donald Trump. Right? Those are 2 options.
Yep.
That's it. Now, I can acknowledge Donald Trump's racism and his comments, and whether it was the Central Park 5, the lawsuits with the apartments, or the birther stuff, I can acknowledge all of that, and also acknowledge the legislation from Joe Biden.
Yes. Joe Biden does not have a crystal clear past either. He absolutely does not. When Trump said that he has done little in his 47 years in politics, I mean, he wasn't wrong.
Joe Biden contributed to black men that are in jail
Yes.
to this day.
Mass
Till
incarceration.
this day.
Absolutely. Yes.
So if I look at Joe Biden, I look at Donald Trump, and I tell myself, okay, well, nothing Donald Trump ever said or did led to the systematic dismantling of people.
That's true, but Trump was never in a position of political power. So who knows what he would have done back then if he was.
But he's been in the president's office for 4 years. Let me ask you this, Shannon. Can you name me a piece of legislation that Donald Trump has pushed through or signed that you believe intentionally hurts African Americans?
That he's pushed through or signed? No, not necessarily. I mean, when they push one could say, and this is not bad, one could say that the First Step Act, when that was passed, was kind of like a good.
It was a good thing. I don't know why.
I mean, it was a good thing. So I can't really. I'm not saying that like he's pushed through legislation that harms Black people intentionally, but that does not mean that he's a good person still.
But I didn't say that. Remember, the point of the discussion is not if Donald Trump is a good person. It's can you vote for Donald Trump and be a good person? So Trump can be wait, all right. So if I vote for Trump, who has said disparaging things and done disparaging things against Black people, if I vote for him,
through his whole history, really. But let's finish your.
How much? I'm just saying. So how come if I vote for Biden, I'm not a bad person?
Because people are not voting for Biden because they like Biden. People are voting for Biden because Trump is a terrible person, and this is truly, purely, when it comes down to it, a lesser of two evils situation.
So why can't I do the same thing in reverse? Do you not think some people are voting for Trump just because they don't like Biden?
No, that's not why people are voting for Trump.
How do you know?
People are voting for Trump because Trump has built kind of like an occult fan base. Am I wrong though? I'm not wrong. He has built a scary type of fan base who are undyingly loyal to him no matter what, and are truly, I want to say, and I use the word brainwashed because I really think it's true. When you talk to somebody who supports Trump, truly, 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 they sound brainwashed and they just support him no matter what. So I don't really think that anybody's voting for Trump because they don't like Biden. I just think that people are voting for Trump because they want to keep the Republican Party up in power, and they just, for some reason, are drawn to him, and I don't know why.
So, question, Shannon, you are referring to what I refer to as Trump's 30%. So there's like 30% of the Trump base that no matter what he says, no matter what he does, they will find a way to support him, defend him, regardless of if he's in the wrong or not. Yeah, that is a real thing. Now, here's my thing. But I'll play fair. I think there was also a 30% when Obama was president, and these were the people who were just, oh, he's dropping bombs in the Middle East. Oh, I don't see nothing. These are the people that were just. They were yes men. They were looking the other way. The same people complaining about the kids locked up in cages. Obama built those things. People don't know that. So is it fair to say that what you're seeing with the Trump supporters are similar what you saw during the 8 years with Obama?
Have you ever? I think that Trump's 30% and Obama's 30% are two very different groups of people.
I agree, but I'm talking about the undying loyalty and to look, just to close your eyes to the atrocities.
And I'm not saying that we have to close our eyes to the atrocities, but I'm just saying that Trump is a very different kind of person. This is a man who refused to condemn KKK leader, former KKK leader David Duke, and
That's not true, Janet.
And he has and his platform is primarily uplifted by white supremacists who doesn't denounce.
So the second part is true. That like we said, white supremacists they love Trump.
Yes,
but Trump did disavow David Duke.
No. What Trump did was he said, "Wait, did he officially disavow him?"
Yes, he did it like 6-10 times. There's video evidence. He said, I disavow David Duke. I disavow white supremacy. White supremacy is evil. Now, I'm not saying I believe him, but just for the sake of being factual.
Okay, but this is something that like I can't believe it, because it's not like he did it the first time he was asked about it. When he was first asked about
He said, "I don't know
David
who he
Duke,
is."
when he first endorsed him, he said that he didn't know enough about him to I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. What's the word? To denounce him, because he didn't know enough about him.
But what if that was the truth?
But he's a KKK leader. What else do you need to know?
No, but did he know he was a KKK leader?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did, because I looked this up, and he.
Go ahead, Shannon.
There is video evidence of him referencing as a KKK leader years before in a previous video.
Okay, so fair enough. But me, you already stated that the right flirts with racists and the left flirts with anarchists.
Okay.
Right? For example, Joe Biden in the presidential debate, he said Antifa is not a group, it's an idea.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's an obvious lie. Them white people in all black are out there burning up black cities because who knows why. So, but he doesn't want to turn off the extreme left from coming out and voting for him. So he chooses to not speak about it. That's the exact same thing Trump does. This is not me excusing it. All I'm saying is the 30% that Trump has of blind loyal followers, I believe he has that because there's a cult-like personality with Trump. But I believe the same thing happened with Obama, because you got a lot of people just looking the other way when Obama was doing things that if George Bush was out there dropping drones on people, they would have been out there in the streets. But they knew about it with Obama, and they was like, well, I mean, it's a hard job.
But it's not even just about, it doesn't even come down just to policy. It just comes down to morals as a person. As a person, it just comes down to morals. You have somebody who got up on his campaign, like in 2016 when he was campaigning, calling for a complete Muslim ban, doesn't want Muslims coming into this country, got up on stage and told Black people that they have nothing to lose by voting for him because our neighborhoods are bad and our education is poor and whatever else he said.
Okay, hold on, Shannon. Now, be objective. Is he wrong? That's what I'm saying is we can't be so.
No. But like, what do you mean? What have I got to lose by voting for you? That has not, like, it just, the way his wording was not
optimal. I agree with you.
And then you, huh? Oh no.
Go ahead.
Here's what you're gonna say.
No, I'm saying I'm with you. His phrasing wasn't optimal, but when he says, "What do you have to lose?" his point was, "You've been voting Democrat for like 50 years. What have you gotten out of it?" Look at Baltimore, awful place. Chicago, awful place.
Yes, that's true. But has he come in and been able to do anything about the violence in Chicago and Baltimore? No,
absolutely not. Though I will, in his defense, I will say this: that most of the help he can provide, he has to be invited in. And because Democratic mayors and governors don't like him, they don't want him in there. Now, once again, I don't believe. See, for people to, because I'm starting to sound like a Trump supporter. For people watching this video, I want to make my position clear. I don't believe Trump is immoral, but I definitely don't think he's moral. I think he's amoral. I don't think he has any morals. I think he is extremely transactional, meaning he likes people who like him. So, for example, if Black people love Trump, I believe he'd be out there doing. In fact, I think that's why he signed the First Step Back, just because certain Black people like Van Jones and Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, they were able to go up there. And
Kim Kardashian's not a Black person, by the way. Just want to throw that
out. My bad. Oh, you know what I mean. And they convinced Trump to sign his First Step Back, and he did it because they stroked his ego, and so he gave him a bone. That's how Trump operates to me. And
of course,
even Republicans, right? You know, he likes Republicans. Who did he not like? He didn't like Mitt Romney originally. Now he likes Mitt Romney because Mitt Romney is going to confirm his Supreme Court nomination. He didn't like John McCain because John McCain didn't like him. He's an extremely childish man who, quite frankly, doesn't put too much thought into the things he does. But I believe he has extremely high emotional intelligence. I believe he won because he was able to read the country in 2016, and he saw all of that anger and rage. The same thing that almost got Bernie the nomination. You know, people angry at the establishment, and Donald Trump pretty much, you know, he told them what they wanted to hear, and he got into the presidency. But once again, Shannon, the question is not is Trump a bad person? Not if we're not asking if Trump is immoral.
No. I know what you're asking. You're asking if it makes you a bad person if you vote for Trump. It all depends because of a lot of the things that Trump has done, and because of his past, because of the way that he's led this country the last 4 years, because of the way that he does politics, because of the way that he does all the things that you said.
Mm-hmm.
I just
you can't even imagine,
huh?
You can't even imagine voting for Trump,
right? I just don't understand how you, in your right mind, seeing the state of this country right now, which he blames on the Democrats, but in reality, we're in the state we are now under his presidency. I don't really understand.
Well, wait, is it that simple though?
It's not that simple. It's not that simple, but you have someone that has refused to offer any solution or say anything really to try and even unite the country in the slightest. He has not done or said anything. All he's done really is increase the crack growing in the middle.
Yeah. He thrives off of divisiveness. Though I will say this, see, I find when I talk to people about Trump, there are two trains of thoughts. There are people who believe Trump is the cause and people who think Trump is the effect. I believe Trump is the effect. I believe.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that he's the cause, but he definitely isn't a solution. He hasn't been proven to be a solution to everything that's going on right now.
Well, no. I don't think there is a solution to what's going on right now. Mm-hmm. I believe what's going on right now is a lot more dangerous than people want to admit. Democracies historically run their course. They don't last forever, right? Like what we're seeing happen in America right now, you kind of saw it play out with the Romans. You kind of saw it play out with multiple republics. So I'm worried about like more serious stuff than who's going to be president in 2020. Like, I'm looking long term about the health of the republic. So I agree with you there. But when I say Trump is the effect and not the cause, the split in the country started to happen before Trump.
Yes.
Remember, some people that voted for Trump in 2016, they voted for Obama in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone who voted for Trump was not just these flaming white racists who, hate black people. Because if you voted for Obama twice, they voted for Obama twice because their lives sucked. Many of them living in the western belt of the country. They voted for this guy who came out and said change and hope. Didn't really pan out for them. So they see the other guy saying, all of these politicians are lying to you. I'm going to drain the swamp. And they go and they support this man. Now, you might say, okay, well, it's 2020 now. Clearly, you can see who this guy really is. I don't think they can, because when you only have two options, Shannon, the illusion of two options, because really, they're not the only people running for president. You have Joe Jorgensen running for the Libertarian ticket.
Well, yes, but
yeah, I'm with you. I'm just saying, people need to remember that they do have choices, and it is on you to find your choice, because this two-party structure, they purposely operate together to keep other parties out. But that's a different conversation from the day. But my point is, when you only have two options, Shannon, you are kind of, you got the blinders on for your party. And I see it on both sides, and it makes me annoyed. Now, I think Trump is particularly more of a liar than any other politician ever. But we have to be honest, though. The reason why he's able to do it is because we, the American public, have made it a standard that we accept politicians lying. Like, exclude Trump. We all kind of think, well, I mean, he lies, but that's kind of what politicians do. We set that standard.
Yes.
I think Donald Trump looked around and he said, I could do this way better than they can. And he turned the volume all the way to the top. Because if you name Trump's worst qualities, I guarantee you will find them in almost every other presidential candidate we have ever had. It's just Trump does it to such an extreme that it drives you insane.
Yes, I feel like Trump has definitely lied more than he's told the truth. So
absolutely,
all 4 years.
Yes,
absolutely believe that is true. And I had a point that I was going to make, and it was lost
while I
was listening.
My bad.
It completely went out the window. Oh my god.
It'll come back in a couple of seconds. But and if you remember, just cut me off.
Okay.
Would you be open to this defense in voting for Trump? What if I'm somebody who is a weighted voter, right? So I'm not. So I don't really vote based on the candidate. I vote on who I think is going to protect certain constitutional rights, right? So let's say if I'm somebody who is big on like the Second Amendment, like a lot, like that matters to me a lot. Trump is obviously the only candidate that is going to not try and pass some law to take away my favorite big boy gun.
But that's the thing also. That's why, okay, so you have your 30%ers who blindly follow Trump, who will still vote for him if he got up in the middle of a crowd and freaking shot somebody in the head. People would still vote for him. You have those people, and we don't put those people to the side because they don't matter at all. Then you have the people, the more logical people who are voting for him strictly because of certain policies. And that's the thing. And those people really, I mean, it's hard to say if I consider them bad people or not. I just feel like moral practices and I just feel like moral standards should outweigh policy a little bit, but that's just, I don't know if that's just me that thinks that way.
So you're saying you think they should put the health of the republic over their own like personal.
Yes, but people are selfish and people are not going to do that, obviously. But
here's my thing. So here's my Trump breakdown of the electorate, right? 30% cult following. Me and you both agree. I think 5% people who vote on issues.
Yep.
I think the remainder, what's that? 15% is left. Because he's half. Okay, so the remaining 15%, I think we're talking about people who are Republicans and they just vote for whoever the Republican is. Doesn't matter who they are.
People that blindly follow their party. Absolutely. Yes.
Now,
but that's another issue.
But I don't think it's their fault. Once again, I'm
not saying it's their fault, but I'm just saying it's an issue. There are people that blindly vote Democrat and will blindly vote Democrat all the time. There are people that blindly vote Republican who are going to vote Republican. Who are going to vote Republican all the time. And that is also the issue with our two-party system. That is also a big issue as well.
And so my main point is that I don't believe that anyone who votes for Trump is a bad person. I truly don't believe that. I believe that, look, people see what they want to see. I know. People see what they want to see in these politicians. I don't see it. I don't. When I look at Trump, I see a guy who is very funny. I think he's funny. I think he's entertaining. I believe he you know what? I think a big reason why people vote for Trump, Shannon, has nothing to do with policy. Absolutely nothing to do. I think if we're being honest, this was a little bit true for Obama as well. Like I don't think people in 2008 voted for Obama because they love his phenomenal policies.
No, I think people voted for Obama in 2008 because he was black. Mainly. A lot of the time. Not a lot of people
voted for Obama because he was black.
Yeah, that's what I meant. But yes.
Yeah. But white people, I think they voted for people, I think, vote for like energy and style and Obama had like a youthful, charismatic, I don't know, bravado.
Yes. And I know that in 2016, a lot of people voted for Trump because they were tired of their standard politician, and Trump was different, and he came in and he spoke his mind and he did all this stuff, even though he said vile and stupid things that didn't make any sense. He came in and he told it like it is. That's what people like to say that he does. So that's why he got a lot of the vote in 2016 as well. But
it's because BDE, Trump has BDE, and we don't want to talk about it, but it is a big part in what gets certain people elected. When you have BDE, it doesn't matter if you actually have BD, but but if you have BDE, it makes people kind of enamored with you. And so Trump is what you call like he is the illusion of masculinity, right? If you think about Trump, he has an extremely fragile ego. He's very petty. He's thin skin, can't take a joke really.
Nope.
That is the opposite of what a masculine man is. But he's able to look bigger than he is. Because number one, he is pretty tall. Like I think he's like 6'2".
Is he?
Yeah, he's like 6'1", 6'2", which is pretty tall for a president. Yeah, look it up. He's pretty tall for a president, so he's physically imposing. He has that thing where with the hands, excuse me, and he,
Yeah.
thing. And he just doesn't look like a standard politician. He says things that no one would ever say. He was doing the during the pandemic briefings where he goes something models. I've never I've never had any experience with any models. Well, not that type of model. And he continues to talk.
Yeah. But that's another thing. His intelligence can be questioned, rightly so. And I just don't understand why anyone would want someone like that in office. Like he's obviously lacking a little in the intelligence department. And
Agreed.
He just says whatever he wants to say based on no facts whatsoever. And I just don't understand how people can just let that slide and just like let it be okay as people have. And I don't understand how people can enable it. And that's what people are doing. People know that he's not the smartest guy. People know that he's dumb, but yet you're enabling this behavior.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. I also think a small faction of the Trump crowd are also people like myself who look. I like a train wreck, or I'm attracted to.
Oh my God! You're coming off as a Trump supporter again.
No. I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it. But I look, man. It's hard to explain. I find him to be captivating. Like the fact that this dude was able to make it all the way to the top.
I mean, yes, it's fascinating. Definitely not a reason to vote for him. I'm not saying that you're voting for him because I know that you're not a Trump supporter, but I'm just saying.
I'm voting for Joe Jorgensen, though. By the way, so
are you?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're throwing away a vote, but it's okay. Okay, we don't have to get into that right now.
Shannon,
but...
that is. No, first of all, I live in New York, so our votes don't even matter.
I know it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah,
but still.
Look, all I'm saying is I understand the attraction to Trump. Now, here's what I will say. This is gonna be on the record. I voted for Trump in 2016.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Are you kidding?
wait, let me explain. Let me ask some context.
Oh no, now, it's okay. It's okay. I can forgive you. I can forgive anyone. I'll let you explain after, but I can forgive anyone. I can forgive anyone now that voted for Trump in 2016 that now realized the error of their ways. I can forgive you.
So here's why I voted for Trump in 2016, and it's very simple. I assume Hillary was going to win that election easily.
So you voted for Trump as a joke?
No, not as a joke. I voted for him seriously, but as a message, because I didn't like in 2016 the way Hillary Clinton and the DNC were just kind of like taking the black vote for granted. And unlike the rest of y'all, I'm not beholden to these people. I cannot stand Democrats because I know they treat us the way that they treat us only because they know we have nowhere to go. So when you don't have anywhere to go, you get the crumbs. And by the way, you see it in the policies that they pass. If you notice, do you remember? Did you hear what Joe Biden said? When he was doing an interview, and he said, unlike the African American community, the Latino community is extremely diverse.
Yep, he said a lot of questionable things. Yes,
no, but he believes it all. Like, see,
no, I don't doubt that he believes it all. And again, I'm not very proud of having to have to vote for Joe.
No, I get it. So, like in 2016, the same attitude. Now, Hillary Clinton was a better navigator, so she never really said anything that was as stupid as Joe Biden. But just the feeling that you got from Democrats, I didn't like. She went to Breakfast Club and she said that she got hot sauce in her bag. Like, just when they do that stuff, it makes me like, because they don't go to anyone else, and ask for their vote, trying to relate to them culturally, or they give them policy plans. But for us, it's like, oh yeah, let's go to a couple of rappers and get them to vote. And so I was tired of that, and I assumed she was going to win. So I said, I'm going to vote for Trump. If she wins the Electoral College, but the popular vote is a lot closer than they thought, maybe the Democrats will think again about taking us for granted. Now, I had no idea. I had no idea that she would lose. Cause now I'm in the basket with everybody else. But I will say through that entire, because I watched everything. I watched the entire DNC nomination in 2016, and I watched the entire RNC nomination in 2016. I found Trump to be a fascinating character. I found Bernie Sanders, because I supported Bernie in the primary. Yeah, he was my guy in the primary.
Yeah,
so once he came out, I was like, all right, well, vote for my guy Trump now.
I just want to get away from this old white man narrative. We don't need an old white man in office. That's not the way that this country needs to be going. It's definitely not the way to get to more. It's definitely not the more progressive step. But unfortunately, this is where we are. So,
but that's not really true though, because Bernie's an old white Jewish man.
Well, besides Bernie is like a unicorn. You just put him over there. He's like a special case. Besides him, I feel like he is the oldest, probably, like, liberal, really, that you can think of. Like, who else?
A politician. Noam Chomsky is older than him, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But what do you say?
So, like, is it Noam Chomsky is older than him?
Is he? I don't know. How old is Bernie? Like 85? Old?
Bernie's like 85.
I don't know how old he is.
He's like 85.
He's pretty old.
Yeah. But look, just to, I would just like for us to be more understanding of the Trump supporter or Trump voter, because look, Shannon don't want to hear it, but I'm speaking to you, America. Joe Biden was in that debate. I'm speaking to you, America. I want people to remember that there are only two teams, and you never know the reasoning behind why somebody is voting for the team that they're voting for. And I believe that both of these parties, they play on our anger and our fears, both of them, Democrats and Republicans, and they like to keep their bases at each other's throats. Meanwhile, they don't act that way. I have been to Albany when I was with the NAACP. I've been with politicians, and they do not have they do not have the anger towards each other, that their bases do. And so while the bases, as Democrats and Republicans, their bases fight each other and get all nasty, the politicians, they pretend they hate each other, and then they go out to eat together, drink together, have these weird DC orgies together. They don't have the anger that we have, and I believe we're getting exploited. So that's all I want to say, is that the Trump supporter, I think, is not an immoral person for voting for Trump. I know it's hard for you to swallow, Shannon. I'm just saying.
I mean, I understand the point that you're making. I just don't get it. Like I said, I can understand in 2016 you voting for Trump, but now after 4 years of pure debauchery, like literally nothing.
But it wasn't pure debauchery though.
It was like 85%, maybe 70. Shannon, but even so, that's more than half.
So question, before Corona, you don't see how a Trump supporter could have been satisfied with their decision? Like just think about it. The economy was humming. The economy was humming.
Okay. Yes, I understand that. That. But again, this is more looking at the person. This is more about morals than about what he's done. But I have come to learn over the last 4 years, and I have come to learn by going to an a predominantly white college. I have come to learn that that there is a severe lack of moral standards in this country, and it's all about really who's going to play to people's beliefs and like how it's going to benefit them the most over
you just figured that out, Shannon.
Everything. I didn't just figure it out. I said I learned more these past 4 years, and definitely more when I went to college. I learned that. So I just think it's about him as a person. If you look at Trump as a person, if you take out all of the things that could be quote unquote labeled as a success in his presidency, if you just look at him as a person, there's really nothing good about him. He has a terrible past. While he was serving his presidency, he was a terrible person as a president, and he doesn't care about the American people. And I don't understand why people think that he cares about them.
But does he matter though? Like if I'm a voter and my personal life improves, but the candidate remains a piece of garbage.
But that comes back to the point I'm saying about people like completely disregarding moral decency. You know, like that's not a thing that people care about.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, why should we care about moral decency? If my personal life is better, Shannon, and
I guess. I understand what you mean.
Yeah, like moral decency does nothing for me personally.
I get it. I understand that. But Trump has had a lot of failures too. COVID being the big one.
Yeah, obviously.
Sorry, but he also is not handling. He didn't handle Iraq very well.
What happened with Iraq? What happened with Iraq again? What happened?
When he dropped the bombs on.
Iran.
Iran. Oh, sorry.
Oh, Iraq.
Well, we gotta go back. Can't keep that in there. Yeah, edit that out. Edit that out. Edit that out. I was really gonna say that he hasn't done well in the Middle East, period. But then it all got crisscrossed.
Wait, so what do you think? What do you think about all of the
wait. We gotta go back and restart that sentence. Do not.
Come on, Shannon. No one cares you got Iraq wrong. Wait, what happened? What do you think about all of these peace things that he's been signing lately with like the Israel and those Middle Eastern countries? Not good, bad, no.
But are you gonna take that part out? I just need you to tell me.
you didn't do anything wrong. You said Iraq instead of Iran. It's like
Oh, sorry. Okay, we'll just take this whole thing out.
Shannon's doing worry about her image, and they Trump. No, but do you care about that at all?
Do I care? I mean, a little bit, yes, but again, not enough for me to vote for him. I mean, I can acknowledge when right steps are being taken, but again, like it's not really enough. I would say.
Because so far he's been in office for 4 years, and you've only given me like two things that you didn't like. You don't like the way he handled COVID, and you say you don't like the way he handled Iraq, but Iran.
He doesn't believe in climate change. He's pulled us out of He pulled us out of the Paris Climate Accord.
Yes.
And essentially is ignoring really what is a huge thing that's destroying our planet, even while the whole West Coast is on fire. Climate change.
Agreed. Though now here's the thing. See, here's what I will agree with you on, Shannon. I want Trump out of the White House, but not for the reason that you do. I want him out because I think there are a bunch of governors in this country that are hiding behind Trump to cover their own incompetence. Right? Andrew Cuomo. Trump is not the reason why you sent recovering COVID patients back into the nursing homes. That had nothing to do with Trump. Nothing to do with Trump.
No.
But he's able to hide behind Trump so that he doesn't have to own up to that. Gavin Newsom. Forest management. You have to manage your forest better, dude. Like, that's what's causing all of these fires. Numerous people who are smarter than me have been saying that. That has nothing to do with Trump. Manage your forest better. Portland. Why is your city always in the news? It's always in the news with these Antifa people. Get a grip on what's going on there. Like, so these problems don't have anything to do with Trump, but people are able to hide behind Trump because he's such this lightning rod that they don't have to do anything. So I want Trump out of office so that the people who are
up to their
thank you.
Yes.
So that's what I want.
But again, just in general, but he hasn't really handled the whole uprising. He hasn't really handled Black Lives Matter. He hasn't handled any of that particularly well either. So,
but what can he do?
Well, first of all, he can say it. I don't even think he's ever said that Black Lives Matter.
Said what?
Nor has Pence. What?
Because they don't support the Black Lives Matter movement. By the way, neither do I. But go ahead.
But does that mean that Black lives don't matter?
No. But
I feel like the phrase and the foundation are two different things.
Oh no, Shannon, stop it.
What?
That's like saying, "Oh my God, the tree is different from the fruit that drops from the tree." No, it ain't.
Yes, it is.
It's the same thing.
It is. Yes, it is.
Shannon,
Okay. But when you're a person, so when all that stuff was happening in Charlottesville, and he said that the extreme right,
he didn't say that.
Yes,
Don't
he did.
say it.
He didn't say it. He didn't say that there were fine people on both sides.
He didn't say that.
Yes, what? He didn't. What do you mean?
I'm trying to help you. This is gonna be worse than your Iraq blood. I'm telling you. I'm trying to help you.
He didn't say there were fine people on both sides.
Google it right now on your phone. Go ahead. I'm trying to help you, Shannon. I'm trying to save you.
I feel like I already Googled this.
Google, is it true that Donald Trump said there are fine people on both sides? And you tell me what comes up.
All right, let's see. Let me read the transcript. So what I'm saying is that he said it, but it was taken out of context.
That's exactly what I'm saying. He was talking about. Don't do that. Don't do that. He was not saying that the white supremacists were good people.
Is it hard to believe? Is it hard to believe though that Trump is just racist?
I don't think he's racist. Once again, I told you, I think he's transactional. He likes people. Look, first of all, we're not going to pretend like black people.
It has nothing to do with his presidency. Look at him as a whole. Look at what he did back in the 70s and the 80s.
Shannon, racist. David Duke is not out here hanging out with black people. He's not. That's an actual racist. So explain Trump all in the rappers' music videos with Snoop Dogg or Jay-Z. He's going to dating black women. Like
I guess.
Look, I'm not saying he's a good person, but the racism accusation, I don't see the evidence drawn out. There are black real estate people who also don't want black people in their properties.
That's a whole different issue, though.
I'm just saying.
That's a whole different issue. That is still problematic, but it's a whole different issue.
It is, but they're not racist.
Okay.
The reasoning behind it is
Trump has a very problematic history. Okay, you're right. I'm gonna take back the word racist, but he is still a very problematic.
He has no morals. There's nothing that he will not do. He can be talked into doing literally anything if he believes there's a personal gain for him. Totally, 100%. Now, what we talking about?
This is also a man who walked out of the hospital today. Now I really have my doubts now about everything that's going on. It's a man that walked out of the hospital today and literally told people that they shouldn't be afraid of COVID after we've had more than 200,000 deaths.
Now, once again, I'm really not liking where this conversation is going because it's putting me in a situation where I'm coming across as the Trump defender. And I'm not coming across as the Trump defender. I've been trying to give another side. So he says that we shouldn't be afraid of COVID. Shannon, you know that when this pandemic started, I was in a very bad place. Right? I was very, very afraid. Very afraid. I thought this was it. Right? Like, have you seen Contagion?
Yes.
I thought this was that.
Okay.
That's not what this was.
I did not think that. I thought that when Ebola was here briefly. That's when I thought that was happening. But
Ebola is that deadly, but it's hard to catch because by the time you're contagious, you're damn near dead. So it doesn't spread as fast. This was spreading like wildfire. I saw them videos from China that they were trying to erase from YouTube of people just passing out in the hallways. I was terrified. Right. Luckily for us, Shannon, it has not turned out to be as bad as
I know that like it's not the apocalypse that people thought it was going to be back in March, but we still, regardless, it's still a deadly virus and you can still die from it, and we still have lost a lot of lives. So I don't think that it's the right thing to do to tell people that they shouldn't be afraid of it when if you do catch it, there is a chance that you could die.
Yeah, but the problem, the CDC released some numbers, and like the survival rate of, for example, the survival rate of people that are actually in the danger group, like 70 and up, is like 99.75. For us,
I know that, but you still have to look at the numbers, and you still have to look at the amount of deaths that we had. And I just don't think that it was a smart idea to tell people not to be afraid of it, because you're just empowering the people who are already out here yelling in people's faces, making a big fuss about having to wear a mask in the store. All of his supporters, again, that don't think that the virus is serious and don't think that they should be taking it serious, don't wear masks when they go out in public or in stores. You're just empowering these people to further not listen to these mandates that are in place and continue to just not take this seriously when you say stuff like that.
I think that is one reading of it. I think another reading of it could be he's telling people, "Hey, we cannot be obsessed with fear, every day of our lives, dealing with this thing. Like we have to begin to take steps to uh live with it. You have actual epidemiologists saying that there's a pretty good chance this virus is going to be around forever.
Mhm.
It's going to just
But
become part of the.
like most things, but you figure out ways to deal with it. You come up with vaccines and treatments and ways to deal with it so that it
That,
doesn't become much of a problem. But we are not there yet.
but he said in that tweet, though, in his defense, he said we have a lot better treatment now than we did at the start of this thing, so we don't need to be as afraid. Now, to be clear, I'm
Do
not
you believe
catching this.
him?
I no, but I also don't believe. Now, you know me, I don't believe politicians in general. He lies way more than regular politicians, so I damn sure don't believe him. But the sentiment, though, I, I do think we kind of can't be terrified of this thing. My father just
No,
told me that a couple of days ago.
I understand that. I understand that. But again, I feel like
I still don't want it. Be clear, I don't want this thing.
exactly, because still, if you catch it, you really
Like
don't know which. You really don't. You could go either way. You really don't know which way you're gonna go. A lot of
even
young
if I don't die,
huh?
even if I live, I don't want to go through that roller coaster.
Exactly, but
Like, it doesn't sound
what I'm
fun.
saying. That's what I'm saying. So yes, I understand that we need to return to some form of normalcy. I understand that, and I don't think that people are against doing that. But I also don't think, again, with the amount of fluctuation and like the amount of back and forth and like the amount that this virus has become politicized in a way where people just I don't even know how to word what I'm trying to say right now, but I just don't think that that was the correct thing to get up and say. I don't think that he, knowing already that we're having a hard enough time trying to get people to listen and comply and just do the safe and responsible thing. I don't think it was responsible of him to just get up and be like, "Hey, I'm fine. Don't worry. If you get this, you're not going to die." Basically, is how I read that when I read it.
So I agree with you that Trump is being reckless.
Mhm.
I, he hasn't handled this pandemic well at all, because he didn't really take this as seriously as he needed to. That said, here's the thing though, because people keep saying Joe Biden's going to do better with the coronavirus.
I don't necessarily think. I mean, I hope that he does, and that's all we can do at this point. But again, this is not me saying that Biden's going to do a much better job.
Yeah, I hear you. But
Yeah.
my larger point was people on your side of the aisle were calling Trump racist.
You're on my side of the aisle too. Again, stop making yourself.
No, I'm not on either side. I'm out the picture.
I wouldn't say that I'm on either side either. I'm not a Biden supporter. I am just trying to get out of the nightmare that is the Trump era. That is all I want.
I agree with you, but to my point though about why these conversations that we're having are so important is people's feelings are so high right now. It's keeping them from being logical. Because here's my example: people on the left were calling Trump racist because he closed the air flights from China. Now, any objective, I saw those articles being written.
No, I'm not saying like no, you're wrong. I'm just saying like no, that's not necessarily.
It is the most obvious thing to do. If there's a virus going around, Trump's only mistake is that he just did China. He should have cut the air travel from China and Europe. But once again, emotions are so high, Shannon. When you get called racist all the time, now
racist, but it is a little racist and ignorant when you refer to the virus multiple times as the Kung flu. Very ignorant, which he has done. So
I agree with you.
Okay.
I'm just saying that all of this stuff going on makes me nervous because it feels like you know that the right are these cult followers, 30% of them following Trump, or for the rest of them that because they're Republicans, they're just looking past what he does. And on the left, I'm worried because I feel like their wokeness might put us in danger because it keeps them from making like logical decisions. Mm-hmm. Like if I was president, I would have cut the flights from China. But if I had people call me racist, I'd be like, oh damn.
I didn't even know that people were calling him racist because he cut flights from China. Is that
Those
really
articles, those articles written. I'm talking about in reputable newspapers telling Trump that closing the experts said closing the border wasn't a good idea. But then later on, like 2-3 months later, they said by Trump closing the border earlier than waiting a month, 2 months later, he kept the death toll from being much higher.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm saying is, I think like the country is in deep doo-doo. Like, look like this. I am not looking forward to the next 4 years, regardless of who wins.
No. And first of all, yeah, there's not going to be a magic solution to these last 4 years. The next, even if Trump doesn't win, like nothing, like the problems that this country has now, they're not going to magically go away. So if people think that that's wrong, then I don't think they're going to go away in the next 4 years either. So I think that we're just going to have to wait it out, really, if we make it that long.
Agreed. What do you mean?
What?
Like, what do you mean if we make it that long?
If we make it that long, like if some freaking meteor or whatever else doesn't come hurtling towards the earth or whatever else bad, it will happen. And you have to make it there. Listen, if I had the means to move out of the U.S., I would definitely move out of the U.S. right now.
To go where?
Canada, Bali. Yeah. These are all places I'd rather be.
I mean, Russell Simmons is in Bali.
That's where I would want to live. You can go to Bali with like $10,000 and you could be good for a while down there with that money. Just want to say that.
That's not why he went though, but
oh, okay. Yeah. I know why he went, but I'm just saying that I would want to just go there just to get out of this country. This country I've never been so disgusted in humanity than I am now.
Really?
And it has nothing to do with Trump. I mean, it does, but it has everything less to do with Trump and politics and more to do with the people that have crawled out of the sewers, the racist people that have crawled out of the sewers or wherever they were.
But do you think they're that racist though?
Like, what?
I remember my thought now. Black Lives Matter.
What about Black Lives Matter?
You were saying how come that Trump and Pence don't speak on Black Lives Matter, and I was saying they don't support it. Neither do I. And then you try to make this thing where that the movement and the
we're going back to that. Okay. Yeah.
Shannon, you cannot support the slogan and not support the movement. Here's why. The slogan is used kind of like a Trojan horse. So the slogan is
I support the movement. So I'm just not gonna. Anyway, continue.
Okay, so why do you support the movement, Shannon?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you support this Marxist movement? Go ahead.
I don't really want to get into that. Going into Black Lives Matter is a whole different thing. We could make a
You're right.
I don't want to get into it right now.
Yeah. So we're not gonna do that now. But I was just willing to put out there, just because someone doesn't support Black Lives Matter doesn't mean that they are racist, because I didn't not support. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm just saying I don't support the Black Lives Matter movement in any way.
I'm just saying, but it doesn't mean that you're racist if you don't support Black Lives Matter. But I'm just saying, again, this goes back to what I'm saying about offering any kind of words of support for the country that's clearly going through a racial divide. Say something to kind of bring people together. But I don't think.
So Shannon's the 47th president of the United States.
Oh no! Don't ask me what I would say. Don't ask me what I would say.
Why not? What would you say to bring us together? Go ahead.
Put me on the spot right now. Don't ask me what I would say.
Well, I'm just asking,
I'm just saying they could have said something instead of nothing.
So what would you say?
I don't know what I would say because you're putting me on the spot right now. But I'm just saying.
So if you had time, you'd be able to come up with a little speech.
Yeah, something. Right. Even if it was rehearsed, even if somebody wrote it for you and you just stood up and read off of paper something that somebody else wrote, at least you said something,
Fair enough. I'm glad you said this. So next week, when we start the show, I want you to have your British the racial divide speech written down, and I want you to read it to everybody.
Obama I just want to say that Obama did a town hall shortly after all this stuff started happening, and I watched it, and I was like, this is what should be happening right now. Like, whatever, I forgot exactly what he said, but I was just like, see, this is what the president should be doing, is just saying something and just offering some kind of words.
Shannon, you do
Not
do you,
that I would take anything that Trump says and take it as heartfelt, but I'm just saying.
do you remember that Obama sent the military into Ferguson?
I know, but I'm just saying when he did the town hall, I'm just referring specifically to that moment.
Okay.
And he chose to say something.
All right. Well, listen.
Anything else?
I'm looking forward to this speech that you're gonna bring to us. All right. And I'm gonna remind you too during the week. I'm gonna just remind you, hey, remember the speech that you said you want to give to everybody. And
first of all, I just want to throw out right now that I'm not agreeing to this, but you feel like you're forcing me to do it. So I just want to throw it out.
No, if you're gonna be out here saying that, he should come out and say this great speech.
Like it's the job of the president to not be silent in these times and not say stupid things that fuels the fire. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, true. But my position, that you still got to bring the essay. But my position is, I don't think there's anything he could say.
I mean, I get yes, that's true, because it's not like anybody would take anything he says to heart or believe anything he says or want to hear.
But even if they did though, Shannon, what is somebody supposed to say to heal this racial divide?
I mean, I'm not saying that anything that he says will heal the racial divide, but I'm just saying, as a leader of the country, you're supposed to lead. And I feel like he hasn't stepped up in moments that he needed to prove it to be a leader, you know? I feel like we have no leader. That is what I feel is happening.
True.
Though you have a guy that instead shows clear signs of wanting to be a dictator. I'm just gonna say that. Throw it up.
Oh,
out there, just throw it. Just throw it.
She called him a dictator. All right, well,
dictator? Look at him with all his dictator friends, complimenting them, and they're oh, never mind, Jabia. It's true though. It's true.
I know what you mean. He likes Putin. He likes Kim Jong-un. He likes what's that guy from China? Xi?
Yeah.
Whatever his name is. No disrespect to the Chinese people.
These are the people that he's choosing to compliment, to kind of like put up there. And these are not anyway. Okay. But again. I feel like if you gave him a choice to be a dictator over running a republic or democracy, he would be a dictator.
But that ain't saying much, so would I.
Really?
First of all, dictator has a negative connotation to it.
No, I know.
Shannon, I'm telling you, democracy is maybe the worst thing that ever happened to people. I'm serious. People want a king. You do realize that, right?
Do they? Who wants a king?
You want a king?
No, I don't.
Trump. Wait. Shannon, you think you want freedom? You do. I'm just saying, you think you want freedom, but you want policies to be passed, and you want a benevolent. Okay, if you have a benevolent king that will pass Medicare for all, and colleges will be free, and he'll give you all that good stuff, but he's king.
You're right. I would take it.
Most people would. Our natural inclination is to want a king.
Okay.
That's why the founders, when they structured our government, they made the executive branch the weakest branch of all of them, because we have a habit of expanding that power anyway, which is what we've done. The executive branch today is way stronger than it was in like 1776, because we have an inclination. We want kings.
Well, that's a good point. I may have to give you that one. Okay. I might have to give you that one.
We are at our hour here. This was a great conversation.
I feel like there's so much more that could have been said, but you're right.
There is.
I guess, okay, but we still didn't even answer the question. Does it make you a bad person? Okay, I guess based off this conversation.
Well, you say yes.
Automatically make you a bad person, I guess. I'm just still gonna side at you. That's all. That's the conclusion that I'm drawing here. And
I don't believe you're a bad person at all. I think we are all voting for two teams, and so we have very limited options, so we're all cutting deals. Yeah. If I was rich, I'm definitely going for Trump. I'm not rich, so
I guess. But Here's another point that somebody brought up to me before. Actually, no, I'm not even gonna get into this. Never mind. I'm not even gonna do it.
Oh my god! All right, well, look, I thought this was a phenomenal first show. We found out that Shannon didn't know that Iran was different countries from Iraq.
I'm so sorry for confusing Iran and Iraq. I did not mean to do that. I'm not ignorant. I swear. I'm not ignorant.
That was fun. I enjoyed that. Okay. It was an honest mistake. I totally get it. I wouldn't make it, but I get it. So we will see you guys next week, I believe. Yes, next week. Let us know any feedback for the show. I have no idea what we're talking about next week because Shannon picked the topic for this week, so we'll see what she picks for.
There's so many things to talk about. Wait, so you picked the topic for next week?
Yeah, but I feel like all these are already mine.
Okay, so yes, that's true. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like they're already in my mind. So, seeing what you want to, Plus, who knows what happens between today and next week at the speed everything is taking place. We got a VP debate coming up soon.
Yes. Oh, do you think? Oh no. So the presidential debates are still not happening anymore?
I don't know if they're not going to happen or if they're going to be pushed back because Trump has to be in quarantine for like an extra 11 days, right? Because he's still contagious.
Yeah, he's still contagious.
Yeah.
Not to mention the whole White House freaking has coronavirus now. So,
whatever. Question: do you think they all got that virus just from the Rose Garden, or do you have like a sneaky suspicion that I do that Republicans they this has been proven that like Republicans like they are more likely to watch extreme porn and engage in. I'm serious.
What is it? What are you asking? What are you asking?
That's what I'm saying. Do you think they all got corona at that Rose Garden thing? Which seems unlikely. A, it was outside. B, how come it was just like certain Republicans that got it? And there's this dude that got it all the way in the back. Like he was sitting like all the way in the back away from.
Really think it matters if you're outside or not. It can still spread from person to person if you're in close contact with people. And I looked at pictures and people seemed like they were pretty close to each other. No one had a mask on. So I just feel like it's easy to spread.
I'm not buying that they got it at the Rose Garden. My question to you was going to be: do you think they got it there, or do you?
Is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
Listen, that is completely possible. After I watched the Jeffrey Epstein documentary on Netflix, I don't.
See what I'm saying?
I don't not think that is definitely not an option. Like, it definitely is an option. But I'm not gonna say that that's why it happened.
I'm not gonna expect. Yeah. It just immediately hit my mind when I saw, because I just the dude from Liberty University. Remember that guy?
What guy? Who?
It's this guy from Liberty University. There's a big story that came out that his wife was that like he was like in this like cuckold relationship. He got caught.
Don't know if I remember what you're talking about. I don't think so.
It was real bad. He's a Republican too, but it seemed like they are the only ones that constantly get caught up in this stuff. So, yeah. So as always, you can follow me on social media at Crew Philosopher. That includes Instagram and Twitter. Follow Shannon on Instagram at Love_shenanigans.
Yes.
I just read that name for the first time. Threw me off.
It's okay.
So we will see you guys next week. Until next time, deuces.
Bye. I don't know what that was, but
how do I end this, Shannon?
Just hit end. Hit end broadcast. No?
I don't see. Oh, okay.